Because that is the difference in the parable of the sower. That is the real difference. Jesus Christ said, he said, because there was no understanding, so it was stolen. And then he now told his disciples, he said, don't you understand this thing? When they came to him, he said, don't you understand? That means, so all you can still do is to see and to hear, and you will understand. You must understand all of these things. You see, when I had that story, it helps me to understand that, look, this is where we were coming from, and there are things that we have not been teaching again. And people are missing those foundations. And it is affecting them. Because when he gave that story, there was one scripture that came to my mind was 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 15. He said, meditate on these things. Give yourself wholly. You see, what he has just said is an indication that he has given himself, he gave himself totally to this work. Eh? Are you here? He gave himself totally. So if, listen, God will be unrighteous. He will be unjust. And some of us, we will be able to accuse God. Yes. Because Paul said that you may be just. Is that not what Paul said about God? He said, when you are standing in judgment, that you will be right. So God must be just, must be right. So that all of us should be able to say, God is right. Not the one that we will say, God, it seems you are partial. No. If he has to give himself totally, the way he gave himself totally, to be able to become what he became, how do you think that you will not have to give yourself totally to become what you are supposed to become? So if God should do that for you, then shouldn't we accuse God of being partial? Shouldn't we then be able to condemn God if God can do that for you? So if God can just say, okay, don't worry, I will give you double promotion and triple promotion. I will write off all of this, and you don't have to go through all these processes, so just have it. Some of us say, God, no. Objection, my Lord. Oh, yes. Why do I have to pay a price, and then you don't have to pay the price? And even Jesus had to pay the price. Who are you? Give yourself wholly. This is not a job that we do, with, partial commitment. This work requires everything I have, everything about me, everything I will ever be, everything. Without putting everything in, I am going nowhere. I will be struggling. I mean, while Bishop was preaching just now, he alluded to it, because if I don't, he said, look, what you really need is not just the money. Your focus should not just be about the money, because there are some other things. Focus on God. My whole life must enter into this thing that we are doing. So if you listen to me, please. I'm glad you are here. It's a commitment. It's a dedication. It's a show of your heart. Now that you have put your hands to the plow, ready to go all the way. There must be no pulling back. Why must you be doing something in ministry, and your ministry, your church ministry, is like something that an unbeliever can do? You see, because if my church is just about, I gathered some people together, look, MC Oluomo gather people together. Doesn't he gather people? Oh, is here? Oh, I don't even know. He gather people. Davido, or what do they call them? Davido. I used to call it Davido. I don't know why I call it Davido. Because I've never had anybody call it before. Davido, Don't they gather people? So if all you do is you just gather people, what have you done differently? And you gather people to entertain them. And then because sometimes we are doing our ministry is what unbelievers can. What we are doing is like what unbelievers can do. In actual fact, sometimes when we preach, we are preaching what unbelievers will just preach. When we start talking about leverages and securitization and what have you. I mean, sometimes I wonder, I said, why didn't you just convert our church to Lagos Business School? And then we come up with some very high-sounding, philosophical, whatever. Look, that is not ministry. You see, it's not about that. The reason for that is because I have not given myself totally. So I am picking things here and there. They say, well, these are the things that we work. So I'm doing my ministry. I got to learn from Peter Drucker. I got to learn from John Mason. I got to learn from, what are their names again? The guy that wrote Robert Kiyosaki. The one that wrote Good to Great. What is his name? Whatever. I pick all of those things and then I come to church and I just motivation everybody. Look, I am doing ministry like an unbeliever. What I'm doing, unbelievers can do it. I must do ministry that no unbeliever can do. And I cannot be thinking, Archbishop talked about it this morning. Bishop also talked about it this morning. I must not be thinking and reasoning and planning and following like unbelievers. I must be different. I must be different. So give yourself totally. Are you still here with me? Give yourself. You are here. Give yourself totally. Give yourself wholly. Wholly. He gave himself wholly. See the result. He said, your profiting will appear to all men. Your profiting also will appear to all men. All men will see it and they will bring glory to God. You will not just be talking and just talking what all this Peter Drucker will be talking. For what? We're not doing ministry like unbelievers. He talked about it just now. Doing all sorts of things. You see, this is the way ministries was. That is the way we were brought up. Unfortunately, like he also said yesterday, yesterday, but unfortunately, we have kind of left some of those things out. When we were growing up spiritually, we were taught how to give ourselves totally to service. To service. To service. When you look, when I see Christian, when you look at yourself, we are soldiers. Yesterday, I was talking to you about the message that I heard about John Wesley talking about that he intentionally, when he was alive, he was preaching to build a movement. You see, when you are building a movement, you are building soldiers. That's what Jesus Christ even said in Matthew chapter 16. He said, look, this is it. Soldiers. You see, the way he spoke now, you see, what he did, many people cannot do it. Say, oh, I sent somebody somewhere sometimes ago. He got a place and, to start a church. And then suddenly the landlady of the place was talking to me. He said, oh, this guy, I need to send somebody else with this person. This person needs support. I told the guy, I said, come back. And then when he came back, I said, I don't have a job for you again. You can go. What? You are a soldier. Give yourself to this thing. What is it that you cannot do? We are being raised like civilians. And it's affecting the work we're doing. And it is the reason why we struggle a lot. Because, listen, the problem, like Bishop told us earlier, the problem is not from God's side. God's side is settled. It's our side. So, like I said, if you succeed or fail, it is you. But don't think that you are going to succeed by just, just coming out and just, look, this preaching, thank God for this preaching. I love to preach. But you see, just preaching like this alone is not what is going to make you succeed. Yeah. You see, when I want to recruit people, this is because, look, I don't know why I'm not reading the Bible again today. I love Bible, I love Bible a lot. When I want to get people in our church to step up and come and be trained into ministry work and also be discipled or mentored, I always sit them down. You see, I will not lie to you about what this thing is all about. I tell them this thing is going to require the whole of your life. So there's no doubt about it. It must be important to you. It must be that this is something you want to do with your life. Not something that you will like to do in your life. No. English. This is what you want to do with your life, not what you want to do in your life. Ministry is not what you want to do in your life. Say, well, I want to serve God. No. This is what you want to do with your life. If it is not like that for you, you cannot give yourself wholly to it. So I tell them, you might love the church, you might love the message, you love the music, you love the atmosphere, you love that. That is good. But you might not like it when you start working with me in ministry. That is what I tell them. I said, what you see on Sunday is not the real thing. I tell them, that is presentation. So if you are coming for the real thing. I said, it's like a restaurant. You like the restaurant. How many of you like some good restaurants? What do you like about the restaurant? The food, the ambient, the service, the music. And you like to go and go again and go again. Then suddenly you say, I like this restaurant. So can I be part of this restaurant? So okay. Now it's a world of a difference to be in the restaurant and to be working in the kitchen. So you are no longer in the restaurant. You are in the kitchen. In the restaurant, if you want to sit down, we come around, you just go, welcome, you're welcome. How many of you? Table for 5. Oh, you like this area? No, we don't like that area. Oh, come on, this area. Okay, sit down. Can I take your order? Or you still want to relax a little bit before I take your order? Okay, I'll come back. Just take your time. Okay, this is the menu. Just look at it. We'll come back later. Okay, fine. And then we'll come back. Are you ready now? Okay, we are ready. Okay, can I take your drinks? Okay, I take your drink order. Where you are? Okay. And then you are not ready. Okay, we are ready now. I take your order. I say, I'll be back in 45 minutes. We'll be back in 45 minutes, and you'll be okay. Okay, fine, good. Then, as you are eating, your cutlery falls. Oh, I'm sorry. As if I'm the one that dropped your cutlery. Yes. You see, that is what we do in church on Sunday. So you come around, oh, don't worry. You don't like this place? Sit down like this. Oh, you want to be prayed for? We'll come and visit you. Hey. You say, oh, I like this church. I want to be, oh, this church has blessed me. Yes, we have blessed you. Now you want to come to the kitchen. I tell them, if you really want to come to the kitchen, this is the kitchen. It is hot in the kitchen. There's no air conditioning in the kitchen. No fan, Seth. It's tough. It's hot. There's water on the floor. There's knife. And people are throwing things. Plates all over the place. And then if you stand somewhere, nobody will say, oh, are you okay? No. Say, what are you doing there? Move, my friend. You want us to be begging you and pleading with you. All of you here, you are here. You want someone to be begging you, to be pleading with you. Nobody has come to see you. Who is coming to see you? You will have changed my message again. I mean, we must understand that this is what this is all about. It's not a child's play. It's not a pity party. Nobody is feeling sorry for anybody. You have been trained. Before you get to this level, it's because you have some understanding. Like Bishop said some few minutes ago, he said, the reason why you cannot be having all your imagination and planning is because you lack faith. If you are here, we don't expect you to be without faith. We expect you to have become a faith person. You know what you are doing. So we expect you to do it. If you are sick, pray for yourself. Because nobody will be pleading with you. One young lady, one of my pastors is mentoring her. So that lady pastor was now telling me what happened. Said one day, and all these kids, they've really stepped up, and I can say that about them. But you see, once in a while they do something. So one day there was a meeting that's supposed to take place in the church, and she didn't attend. She was not going to go for the meeting, and I think either the other pastor called her or she called the pastor and said, "Oh, what's the problem? You're not going to go for the meeting?" She said, "No. What's the problem? Oh, she has her monthly." He said, "Is that the reason why you're not going to go?" He said, "Yes, the pain is too much." That one said, "Do you know how many times I preach with pain? I beg, go to church, my friend." Look, as long as you are still alive, you are not dead. Come. Yes. Whatever you need to do, do it. You must give yourself totally. Listen, thank God for all the good messages. Okay, let's go to Matthew chapter 16. Let's even go and read a long passage. Let's see something totally together. Rather than me just trying to talk. Let's go to Matthew 16. Let's start reading it from maybe verse 17 or so. Yeah, or even verse 16. Either verse 16 or 17. Okay, verse 17 is okay. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. Continue, please. And I say unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So that automatically tells us about Jesus Christ building the church, and it's talked about the church in relation with the gates of hell not prevailing. So it talks about the church in relation to an army that is assaulting the kingdom of darkness. An army that is knocking and battering another gate to be able to break it and go in and deliver people. So that is the church. Then let me just read on. Next one, verse 19 now. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Continue. I don't want to spend more time on that. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus Christ. Verse 21. From that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. You see, he has just told them about the church. He has told them, I'm giving you authority. Then now, he's now showing them practically by example that this thing is not easy. It's a lot of pain, and I'm going to go through it for you. Amen. Are you there with me now? Continue now. Continue. Verse 22. Verse 22. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from thee, Lord. This shall not be unto you. You see, that's what people always say. Look, don't let anybody prevent you from going through your sacrifice that you need to make for God. Anybody that preaches against sacrifice for the kingdom of God. I don't want to say it before I need to start apologizing again. Because before I came on this pulpit this morning, I prayed. I said, God, please help me not to misspeak today. I prayed it. You see, because Jesus Christ just said it in verse 23. He turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. It is only Satan that will stop you from making sacrifice. It's only Satan. Only Satan that will let you feel that making sacrifice is outdated. It is not for you. If you don't make sacrifice, where will you get to? If you have never made sacrifice for your family, will your family be where they are today? If you have not made sacrifice for your career, will your career be where it is today? If you have not made sacrifice for your business, will your business be where it is today? If you never made sacrifice as a student for your studies, will you graduate? So how do you want now to do the work of God without making sacrifice? Okay, let's continue. Let's continue, please. He turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan, thou art an offense unto me. For thou severest not the things that be of God, but those that be of. When you start running away from sacrifice, you are running away from the things of God, the things that comes from God. You see, it is through your pains that God molds you and God gives you a message. Your message cannot be effective until it has passed through you and you have gone through all kinds of pains to be able to come out of it. If you have not learned how to endure pain, believing God for healing, you cannot teach healing to anybody successfully. If you have not endured the challenge of being disgraced and of being disappointed, without borrowing or begging and believing God and trusting God for your finances, and then it comes through and you succeeded in it, you cannot teach it successfully. It is pain. I don't know why we don't like pain in this generation. I don't know why. I don't know why all our preachers are afraid of the congregation. And you see, what I have discovered is that when you begin to tell people this, even the young people love it. All my young people are. All of them, in actual fact, the parents are happy now. I don't like their parents. And yeah, because their parents are not spiritual enough. The young people, more spiritual than their parents. All the university students, some of them secondary school, oh my goodness. Amazing. And we are just starting. We just started now, 2 years ago. We haven't started yet. We're just starting. So, there is nothing we do in this life that does not require us making sacrifice. Nothing. So don't tell me you are going to succeed in this work just on the flowery bed of ease. No. And like I said yesterday, I don't know why some people, the moment they hear the word sacrifice, what comes to their mind is poverty. Yeah. Every time they hear sacrifice, you know, they hear poverty. I don't know. It shows how unspiritual you are. It shows how carnal you are. Because there is no correlation between sacrifice and poverty. Like Bishop read us a story some few minutes ago, 2 Corinthians chapter 8. He said, you know the grace of God of this Macedonian Christian. He said, in their deep poverty, he said the abundance of their liberality, the abundance of their poverty abounded to their liberality. You see, when you look at that, to interpret that is difficult. Because a poor person cannot be that liberal. Eh? I mean, if you are poor, you are poor. So if you have abundance of liberality, how can what does a poor person have to have abundance of liberality? It looks like an oxymoron. But it's not an oxymoron. Because Archbishop demonstrated it to us just yesterday. What it means. Yesterday, he stepped out, somebody gave him money, and then instead of pocketing the money and trying to go and save it in his account so that he can be rich, what did he do? He distributed it to everybody. So you see, it is a case that you are trying to make yourself poor. Whatever you have, it is abundance, the abundant effort of trying to make yourself poor. It makes you to be very liberal. He could have kept the money, but he gave out the money. He's liberal. But when it comes to his material status, as at that time, that money is not there. Everything in this life, I haven't finished that, my Matthew chapter 16, I beg. Everything takes a lot. So when you hear the word sacrifice, it is not talking about poverty. No. Anybody who doesn't have abundance cannot make sacrifice. Look, if you want to go and make sacrifice, if you go to Babalawo or Juju or whatever, and they tell you to go and make sacrifice, won't you have the things they're going to use for the sacrifice? You have to go with it. You must have it before you can sacrifice it. So if you are poor, you don't have anything, you have nothing to sacrifice. So some people that say they are suffering for God, they make sacrifice. You're not making any sacrifice, you're just suffering. No, you have not made any sacrifice. What have you sacrificed? What have you sacrificed? What can you pinpoint that I have sacrificed this? The things you never had? Saying, if I have not been in ministry, I would have been like this. No. You didn't have that thing before you came into ministry. So you didn't sacrifice it at all. You didn't let go of anything. So stop deceiving yourself. If you let go of something, you'll be happy. You do it joyfully. You see, if I have one car, and I give out the car to mission, and then I go on the street, and the rain is beating me, sun is beating me because I don't have a car, I will not be sad. I know the reason why rain is beating me and sun is beating me, because I made a sacrifice. And I know that I did it for a worthy cause. And I'm happy for what I've done. But if I don't have a car at all, and I'm in the sun, and rain is beating me, both of us, me that had a car before, and I gave it, and the person that didn't have a car at all, both of us, rain will be beating us, sun will be beating us on the road. We'll be waiting at bus stops. Both of us. But one is going through that thing, is suffering. But another one is going through it because he made sacrifice. You must understand the difference. Jesus said, I'm going to sacrifice my life. Because he has his life. He can keep it. Let's go back to Matthew 16. Let's read it. Are you still here with me? Then said Jesus unto his disciples, go back to verse 23 so that it can flow. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. 24 now. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself. You see that? He had just talked to them about being soldiers. He didn't tell them now that, well, from this moment onward, I'm going to die for you. And when I die for you, I'm going to make you rich. I'm going to make you plenteous. I'm going to promote you. No, no, no. He told them, I will die. And then now, this is your own calling now. If any man will come after me, let him do what? Let him deny himself. What does deny himself mean? Sacrifice. Huh? Sacrifice himself. Let him sacrifice himself. Take up his cross. The other way I can interpret that is humble yourself. You see, I'm back to my message. I'm still preaching my message. The three things I told you. Sacrifice yourself. Let him deny himself. Let go of yourself. Let go. Take your cross. The cross is not a thing of beauty. I have to be very careful what I say about cross, because before my mouth make me to offend. The cross is not a thing of beauty. The cross is like firing squad, like the guillotine, like the lethal injection. So it's like, you see, today, all of us, we love to wear cross. But that is not really the cross. It's just an emblem, which is good. I love the cross. I love the cross. I love the message of the cross. And I love that people should have understanding of the cross. We don't preach about the cross anymore. We only preach about victory and resurrection. We don't preach about the cross anymore. But the cross is the most important thing. That is the beginning. Let him deny himself, carry his cross. To carry your cross means you bring yourself to some levels that you will never go to. Jesus Christ had to carry his cross. He was beaten. It was something of pain, something that humbled him, something that made everybody to ridicule him. And they nailed him to that cross. Totally dead. So let him take up his cross, and then what is the third one there? Let him follow. Be a follower. Sacrifice, humble yourself, and follow. Let him do that. Let him deny himself. Take up his cross, and let him follow me. So, if you are not ready to live sacrificially, you are not ready to work for God. If you are not ready to die, you see, I don't have the time, because there are some things I discover in the Bible. I'm amazed. The ease at which virtually everybody in the Bible, they are ready to die. You see, we're going to live long. Are you with me? We're going to live long. But we must be ready to die. Are you following me? You see, if you don't have the mindset that I am dead, you cannot do the ministry effectively. Because your life must be on the line. You must have let go of it. If you cannot let go of your life, you will be holding back too many things. The person that is giving out all his money, he has let go of his desire for comfort. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. Am I correct? Yeah. But you see, when you hear Archbishop talks about he's going to live for 120, he's not going to die, you also